All right, folks. Good morning. All right. Hey, we've got a good morning and a welcome to Conversation with the Dean. I am Dr. Johnny Ford, member of the class of '83 and president of the Medical Alumni Association. At this time, I am pleased to introduce our Dean of the School of Medicine, Dr. Ebony Boulware. In addition to her role as Dean, Dr. Boulware also serves as Executive Vice President of Academic Health Affairs at Wake Forest University and as Chief Academic Officer of Advocate Health. There, she leads the academic mission of the nation's third largest nonprofit health system. Number 3, guys. Hey, we've come up in the world here. And she also provides enterprise-wide vision for education research and clinical innovation across 2 School of Medicine campuses and oversees more than 240 graduate medical education programs nationwide. Dr. Boulware also leads one of the country's largest integrated clinical research platforms, supporting more than $450 million in extramural funding. Not bad. An internationally recognized physician scientist and clinical epidemiologist, her work focuses on health equity and addressing barriers that drive unequal health outcomes, especially in chronic diseases. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Ebony Boulware, who, with members of her leadership team, will share intriguing insights and vision for the School of Medicine. Dean Boulware.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Thank you, Dr. Ford, for your leadership, for the Medical Alumni Board, Association Board, and I want to welcome each and every one of you here to Medical Alumni Weekend. This is, trying to get this, okay, can you hear me good? Okay, good. This is actually the most fun weekend. It's an intense weekend, but it's the most fun weekend that I have throughout the year because it's so great to see you here thinking about the school, reminiscing, meeting with friends, new and old, and kind of just enjoying the ambiance of the school. And then for me as the dean, now been here, and this is my 4th year, it's just wonderful for me to always experience the enthusiasm, the warmth, the care of our community, and I call it the Wake Forest, I should call it the Bowman Gray and Wake Forest University School of Medicine family. So we always are acknowledging our history and proud of it. So I wanted to, today we're going to be talking about, I've got three leaders here that really focus on the MD education program. And so I'm going to be they're going to be sharing with you their insights about the MD program and how it's evolved and their roles. I'm going to first give you a little bit of an overview. I know some of you I see a lot of faces that have been at some of the sessions, but not everybody. I wanted to give you just a quick high-level overview of what's happening with the school in general, as Dr. Ford mentioned some of it. First and foremost, our school is thriving. As you can see here in the Winston-Salem campus, and Winston-Salem is thriving, and the school is thriving along with Winston-Salem. We have over 100-year history of providing the best medical education in the country, and our school really is distinguished in that. We have thousands, over 12,000 applicants, 13,000 for the now 198 or so slots that we have for medical students that are entering in Winston-Salem and in Charlotte. So we are highly competitive. People really know about the excellence, the quality, the community, the spirit, and of what we offer, and students want to be here. And so we're really proud of that and excited to continue that legacy. As you can see, we continue to invest in the facilities that the students have, the technology, the simulation capabilities, the education quality, and so that's really wonderful. We have an outstanding faculty that are just so 110% committed to the well-being of the students and the quality of the education. And then if you've had an opportunity to meet any of the current students, they are truly outstanding and amazing. I absolutely believe I would not have gotten into medical school today. I feel lucky I was grandmothered in. It's really, these students are change agents. They're committed. They really are, I feel so confident with these students coming in. And it's our goal to really make sure we give them everything they need so that they can thrive even further. So this year was a pivotal year because we also opened our second campus in Charlotte officially. Charlotte, until last year, was the largest city in the United States without a four-year medical school. And as part of our voyage in integrating with what was Atrium Health, which is now called Advocate Health, establishing that second campus in Charlotte was a key part. Now, the university at large is also expanding into Charlotte. So you'll see that Wake Forest University, multiple schools are in Charlotte. The business school is already there. The School of Professional Studies is there. Other schools are also locating there. And there's been a whole movement on the university at whole to be located in both Winston and Charlotte. It's been exciting. In July of last year, we did our first white coat ceremony for the students in Charlotte, and that was just thrilling. The faculty were there just in their white coats and excited to support the students. The students were there, the families were there, and it was just awesome, having our school, folks so proud to be there, and just getting started. And I can tell you that the reception of our students in Charlotte has been over the top. I can't tell you that there's not a day when healthcare executives, community members want to get around our students, and our students have been so gracious in just talking about their enthusiasm. I try to protect them and say, look, they're trying to go to medical school, they've got to be doctors at some point, so you can only get so much access to them. But the students themselves are amazing. The facility is quite outstanding. If you've had an opportunity, if you have not had an opportunity to visit the campus in Charlotte, it really is exciting. This facility is amazing. That facility is amazing 2.0 because it's got even more technology and sort of technology-enabled aspects of the curriculum. And I think we're learning from both campuses, so that's really exciting for us. I'll also say that we have 1,200 faculty members in Charlotte, and they are also knocking down the doors to be with the students. The faculty in Charlotte are just so committed and excited to be a part of the school and be a part of the mission of training the students. Many of the faculty are alums, so that is also a very nice thing. The Wake Forest and the Bowman grain Wake Forest spirit really already there. It's not something we have to cultivate anew. And I started giving folks white coats that have Wake Forest University School of Medicine on it, just making sure that everybody feels that all our students are feeling really welcome there, and the faculty are wearing these with pride. So this is really an exciting moment for the school in terms of our expansion. So the one school, two campuses. What I want to talk about a little bit is that our curriculum, and our experts will talk a little bit about the curriculum, but we do have two different curricula that provide the same information but two different learning modes. So in Winston-Salem, we still have our traditional Wake Ready, where the students are really in the didactic mode for about 18 months prior to getting into the clinicals. And then in Charlotte, we have, sorry, I said Winston-Salem, and then in Charlotte, we have a problem-based curriculum where those students are coming in and learning more around a patient problem. So imagine that, a case might be a person comes in with a cough. And so within the context of that, they might learn about the lung physiology, the microbiology, all of the different things that are associated with, oxygen. They'll learn all of that in the context of that. And that's more of also a team-based, they're coming in person into groups to really learn around that. So it's more of a slightly different learning style, same information, same material, and same success. We're finding that the students are doing equally as well in both programs. From that, we're finding that people are really excited in both areas, both places, and we're putting a lot of time together to making sure that the students on both campuses have an opportunity to meet with each other, to be one community of students, and also get involved with communities in both communities, getting involved in research, so it's really exciting because it's very vibrant in both locations, and we're sharing learnings and community across both locations. I'll also say that as we're growing the campus, Dr. Ford talked a little bit about the research platform, and Wake Forest University School of Medicine is now the academic core for Advocate Health. Advocate Health is now actually, I think it might be getting closer to the second largest not-for-profit health system in the nation. So it's 6 states, North Carolina, South Carolina, Wisconsin, Georgia, Illinois, and a little bit of Alabama. And I believe we're probably the largest healthcare provider in North Carolina as of some announcements that were made on Friday. So one thing that's very, very exciting about this is that Advocate is a learning health system and an academically integrated learning health system, and you'll hear the CEO, Gene Woods, really touting that and being very excited about that. As a part of that, Wake Forest University School of Medicine is the academic core. So that means we drive all of the academic activity that's happening across the health system. So I'll give you an example of that. For one, we run the largest clinical trials platform in the country now. So we have a single platform for doing clinical trials. It's called the National Center for Clinical Trials. It's powered by the school, and what it means is that clinical trials now could be executed across the entire health system, coordinated through the School of Medicine, and it allows our outstanding faculty to do work to do drug discovery and pharmaceuticals and get treatments to patients wherever they are across the enterprise. They can be involved in a clinical trial. Previously, our faculty who were doing clinical trials have been doing them, but in order to do trials with more than a few hundred patients, you really had to partner with this place and that. It could take months to do all the partnerships it took to get enough patients involved in a clinical trial, to do it rapidly and do it well. Now, because we have 70 hospitals and we have thousands of care locations and over 6 million patients, the faculty member who wants to do a clinical trial in cancer or in heart failure can do that and can activate colleagues across the enterprise to be involved in those clinical trials. And we have a real infrastructure set up about that that's run through the school. So that's an opportunity for us as we do that to have an impact on the care of individuals across this really large health system. We're also expanding because there are faculty who are doing research across the enterprise, even in Wisconsin and Illinois and in Georgia, and we have invited them into our faculty. Their research funding is coming into the school, and they are involving with colleagues across the enterprise, so there are lots of partnerships that are happening. We are integrating with the health system. We have not been taking, I think that there's some concern that the school is being swallowed up by the health system, and actually it's the opposite. The school is really energizing and amplifying the academic spirit and rigor and capability across the health system. And it also provides us with opportunities to get our students to other places. A great example was a student I was just in. We had a month called Celebrate Research, and I was in, and we did it all across the enterprise. So this is the school supporting research across the enterprise. And so we had events here in Winston-Salem, in Charlotte, in Milwaukee, and Wisconsin, in Milwaukee and Chicago. And I was in Chicago last week, and a panel of faculty were giving a presentation on maternal and child health, Center for Excellence there. And one of the faculty members had trained here in Winston-Salem and then did their residency in Chicago and joined the faculty of our school in Chicago. So this is an example about how people are coming here to Winston-Salem. They may have to move. Previously, that person might have gone to Northwestern or another school. They wouldn't have even been in the Wake Forest University School of Medicine. We would have trained them but lost them to our community. Now, this is a student that we've trained that has now come and stayed with us to do their postgraduate training, and now they're on the faculty. That's exactly the example of how when we are doing something here, that our engagement with this larger health system is allowing more of our people that we're training and putting all this resources into to stay and then also serve our communities as a part of, and stay a part of our faculty. So it's an exciting opportunity for us to really grow our mission, our school, along with the health system. So that's really sort of a snapshot, and there's so many other things that are happening here that are really exciting. I could go on for hours and hours and hours, but I'm going to pivot now to our distinguished leaders here, and I'm going to introduce them first, and they're going to talk a little bit about the school and how it's thriving from their perspectives and their engagement, and then I'll give you an opportunity to ask questions. So this is more of an informal questions so that you can get a sense as to what's happening. All right, so I've got 3 great leaders here. Our first is Dr. Nicholas Hartman. Dr. Hartman is a professor of surgery, of emergency medicine, and serves as our interim senior associate dean for curricular affairs and assistant dean for assessment and evaluations. So he'll be talking about his experiences, and then I'll have Dr. Tim Peters, and he's a professor of pediatrics and infectious disease who also serves as our associate dean for longitudinal curriculum. And then I have Dr. Wendy Ferguson. And Dr. Ferguson is our Senior Associate Dean for Student Affairs. And so all 3 are engaged with both campuses and can talk to you a lot about the MD program. I'd love to hear from each of you first. Just take a few moments to talk about your position, how you interact with the students, what you see, where the programs are, how you've seen them evolve over the last several years, and where you see us going in the future. So I gave you a lot of runway there, so just talk about whatever you want. Here, Nicholas, go ahead.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Dr. Boulware. I'm really excited to get to speak with you today. My name is Nick Hartman. I'm in emergency medicine here at Wake Forest. I've been here since 2013 and now serve in a role with our curriculum as Senior Associate Dean for curriculum, overseeing that work in both Winston-Salem and Charlotte. It's really been an honor to serve the program during this very exciting time in our school, and I would very much like to talk about our program and where I see things going in the future, what's new. I did want to start with some things about what's not changing, what remains steadfast in our program. So, our North Star continues to be the university motto of Pro Humanitate, and the way that we interpret that is really continuing your legacy of excellence and patient-centered care. So we are the beneficiaries of having and working with a proven curriculum, one that includes really rigorous basic science instruction, along with heavy clinical integration, combined with best-in-class clinical skills instruction and clinical exposure in these world-class medical centers at both here in Winston-Salem and then also in Charlotte. We emphasize on both campuses experiential learning. We have a heavy use of simulation and an emphasis on ultrasound as well, and clinical skills emphasis. Our students are exposed to patients from day one of the curriculum, literally day one and throughout, leading to this real tradition of patient-centered care. And by virtue of this, we continue to see really strong results. Our board scores are well beyond national averages. Our students are matching at high rates and very competitive specialties, doing exactly what it is they want to do, living their dreams and ready for the future. And we call our curriculum Wake Ready because we intend for our students to be ready on day one of residency for whatever happens, but also ready for the future. We know from data that we receive from residency directors that they are more ready than their peers. We know that they are ready to really meet the challenges of the future. So what's new? Well, obviously Charlotte's new, but Charlotte isn't really totally new to medical education, of course. They have a very proud legacy of high-level, especially graduate medical education in that city, and it's just wonderful to be able to bring that to be part of the Wake Forest family and the Wake Forest School of Medicine, and bring that name to Charlotte in service of that large and growing population there in Charlotte as well as here in Winston-Salem. So as Dr. Boulware mentioned, the thing that is different in terms of the curriculum there in Charlotte is that we emphasize as the primary mode of curriculum delivery this group-based, really active learning modalities, including problem-based learning, team-based learning, and similar strategies as really the foundation of curriculum delivery there. They also have innovative ways of learning anatomy and an integrated anatomy course with these multimodal learning strategies, including plastinated specimens and secture tables that integrate radiology along with what they're learning about anatomy. In addition to that, they have the same best-in-class clinical skills instruction that has been built here in Winston-Salem, now spread to Charlotte, and then other courses like medicine and patients and society that teach them about the intersection of what we do in medicine and how that plays out in our wider world. In addition to that, of course, we are, like other parts of the enterprise, we're continuing to learn new ways to use data to inform our tools and methods for delivering our curriculum so that we know precisely what it is that our students are learning and what they still need to learn, and informing program evaluation and curricular improvement. In the future, I think we have, again, the benefit of building from such a strong foundation, and we'll continue to do that. One of the ways that we are seeing that play out is in new pathways to the MD degree. And one of them is exploration that we've been doing in constructing potentially a 3-year accelerated pathway that can allow certain students who know exactly what they want to do, what specialty they want to go into, to partner with a residency program for longitudinal experiences early on, and then also to be able to get all of the core curriculum that is part of our Wake Ready curriculum in 3 years. So we're very excited about that in the future, and just excited in general about leveraging our position within the larger health system and this academic learning health system to open new doors and opportunities for our students. The last thing I wanted to share with you is just a little bit more about how do I really know that this is working? How do I know that in my bones? And I've shared with you, we know this from outcome data. We look at that very carefully. We look and see what kind of success our students are having, and that's obviously incredibly important. But I will tell you also that I'm a practicing emergency physician. I work at our medical center down the street. I'll be leaving here to go there later this evening and to work with our community and our patients there. And I can tell you that I hope very dearly that when I get there this evening that one of our students will be there and then I'll get to work with them, because our students are awesome. They are ready for anything that the clinical environment can throw at them. They care about the patients that they see. They care about the people that our patients are. They know and have been taught how to talk to patients. They know how to examine patients. They know how to construct a differential diagnosis and all of the essential clinical skills that they're taught here in our curriculum. So they are ready for that clinical environment, and they're ready for the future. And so I'm very proud to get to work with them very closely. Lastly, I just wanted to thank you for the legacy that you leave for us, and for being the foundation on which we get to build all of this with our students. Thanks very much.
Dr. Peters?
Yeah, I'm here, Tim Peters, and I'm here primarily in my capacity as director of the Medical Student Research Program. And whenever I'm privileged to be with a group of alumni, I feel really an extreme inclination to express my gratitude to each of you, because your work as students here was the foundation for the success of our students doing research at Wake. How many of you recall collaborating in any way with a faculty member to do research of any kind when you were students here? That's just really a lot of hands. So just a bit of data, which you'd expect from the guy talking about research. So each year, the AAMC asks our graduating students about their involvement with research when they're students. And so our students, for as long as we've had benchmark data, have responded that they are involved in research in the top quartile of medical schools nationally. Now that's impressive, but it really masks the fact that many of the schools who have students responding in that top quartile require their students to do research. At our institution, it is a voluntary participation. What is created at Wake is a culture where our faculty all expect students to be reaching out to them to collaborate, and they welcome them with open arms. It's extraordinary environment here. And the foundation of that has been the work of our students over time to energetically participate as collaborators to lift up our research enterprise here. So we acquired a grant to support medical student research summer stipends in 1980. And we have 1980 and have maintained that grant without interruption since that time. It may be the longest running grant at our institution. But its success has been, the foundation of it has been this energetic collaboration over time. And so I can't think of a more vivid example of how the work of the alumni have contributed to the current success of this program. So this year we will fund 106 students to do grant-supported work over the summer to collaborate both here in Charlotte. This will be the first year we have our rising second-year students spending their summer doing research in that campus with those faculty. This is more than half of our students. And so this is an extraordinary success. So what is also, just to share a bit of the behind the curtains of this sort of enterprise, is that we don't really have a budget. Now, we do have funding continued from that continues to come from the NIH to support a certain number of students. But all of the rest of that funding comes from departments and leaders and philanthropic grants across both campuses. And each year, leaders, when we reach out for contributions to support students, give more and more generously over time. And so rather than being constrained by a fixed budget, what we have witnessed is that the collaborative spirit of community, the work of the students to energize those research groups has led to increased appreciation for the value of our students, and then generous gifts from leaders to support not only the students, but the realization that having a student in your group lifts everyone up. Of course, William Osler is attributed as saying that patients get better care when there are students on the wards. Many of you will recall that attribution. But it's my conviction that research groups perform better research when there are students working with them. And so the work of the alumni over time, over decades, over the entire duration of the existence of our medical school, has established that culture. And that is what continues to grow. There are so many of our students come to our institution to be part of that. It's just been wonderful and one of the great privileges of my career to participate in this sort of these programs. We had almost 130 students present posters at a student research day this year. And another astonishing success story has been the growth of research participation in Charlotte, where those investigators have energetically embraced having students join them and have contributed to this shared program. Of our 49 students who have joined us in Charlotte, 29 of them will be funded to do research over the summer. So this is not this is a rapid growth of collaboration there. So just that message to you of sincere personal gratitude for all of your contributions to that those programs here.
Dr. Ferguson?
Well, good afternoon, everyone. As my colleagues have stated, I'm going to say it again. We want to thank you all so much for your presence here today at this event, first and foremost, but then also the contributions that you have made to Wake Forest University School of Medicine. Many of you and some of you may have been involved in mentoring or being involved in events that are hosted by Alumni Affairs. And I just want to employ that if you have not been able to engage with our students as of yet, this is your call. Please do it. It's an opportunity. Our students look forward to hearing from your experience, hearing your knowledge, your perspective, to prepare them for what to expect when they are in the emergency room, or when they are out talking to others, getting ready for their residencies. And so please look for those call-out emails from Beth Alexander and her team to get involved with our students, both on the Charlotte and Winston-Salem campuses. We would love that. So I serve as the Senior Associate Dean for Student Affairs, and I get the privilege of working with our students day to day. And it's really a privilege. And so I just want to talk through what student support looks like at Winston-Salem and Charlotte campuses. So first and foremost, explaining what that means, student support, because that may have changed from when you were in middle school to now. I think what has changed is that as a whole in higher education, we've recognized that students don't only need to be in the curriculum, in their classroom, that they are people. They have lives outside of that, and they need support outside of that space. And so now we have offices dedicated to supporting the students beyond the classroom. And we've also recognized that that support enables them to be even more successful in the curricular space. So I will talk through with you some of those. So within my office, we provide career and academic advising to students. And so one thing that is unique to our medical school that I think is a highlight is that we provide longitudinal advising. So when a student steps here as an M1 student with us, they are paired with a faculty advisor who is a clinician. And that faculty advisor stays with them all 4 years. That person is their point person for both career advisement, but then also thinking about how do I prepare for those major milestones like step 1, like my shelf exams, and step 2. In addition to their faculty advisor, they're paired with what we call a CPPD, an acronym, so the Center for Personal and Professional Development coach. That coach also aligns with that faculty advisor to provide some of that support. So I like to think of them as the life coach, the person that's there to cheer me on when I feel like I may not be able to do it, but that person who also is there to refer me when I need that additional support. And so when I may need to think about mental health counseling that is provided through our counseling and psychological services office, free to students while they're here, or if I need accommodations as someone who may have a learning disability through our accommodations office. And so these services are provided to students, but it is all about making sure that they know that they're available to them. And so we have people paired with students when they first step foot in here to help them along the way. So those two people help them, but in addition, we also have our student affairs team who oversees the support for our MD students, who really make sure that on both campuses, our students feel like they have someone that they can go to if they need support. So academic and career advising, we just finished one of the major milestones of a student's career, which is Match Day. And it is a huge event. We welcomed over 800 guests to the Benton Convention Center here in Winston-Salem to open envelopes for students to see where they matched. And our students were successful as they are every year. We matched this year at a 96% rate for our students. Some of the standouts of the matches this year is that more and more of our students this year matched in emergency medicine, yay, Dr. Hartman, and then also vascular surgery were our highlights this year. Over 20 of our students decided that they love Wake Forest so much that they're going to stay within their residency. So across both Charlotte and Atrium, and then also here for Wake Forest as well. And so our students are finding their homes in their residencies and matching at great rates. And so now we are about to shift into the next celebration. We're full of celebrations and going into hooding. Which I think is one of the most heartfelt moments where our students get to come with their families and friends and celebrate, that milestone. They've been here for 4 years and they've done it. And they're about to move on to the next phase. And so we will do that May 15th here at Wake Chapel at the Wake Forest University campus. And so we're excited to celebrate with our students. And all of that is hosted through our student affairs team, thinking about the logistics for our students. And so thinking about Match and how we help our students in supporting them with career advisement, that is what we want from our students is to successfully match, and then also thinking about those milestones in their academic journey as well. And so again, I talked to you about the faculty advisors, but in addition to the faculty advisors, we've learned that early specialty exposure is key for our students. Specialties are becoming more and more competitive. And so we know that they are competitive, and so we want our students to be well prepared for those interviews and for anything that they may have to come up to in the future. And so how we do that is we host a specialty fair. Every student in their M1, M2 year is welcome to come to that specialty fair where we have literally every specialty there. So both the PDs and the residents come and host and talk about their specialties and what students need to know to prepare for that. So is it that your specialty requires an away rotation, which we are now finding that more and more specialties are requiring that to apply there? Or is it that you need to have X amount of research done in preparation for your residency? And so those are some of the conversations that we have early on with our students. And one of the ways that we do that is through that specialty fair that I mentioned. And then also we have sessions throughout all 4 years to help prep our students in career advisement. So one of the ones that we are having coming up is a residency application workshop where our associate deans on both campus, Dr. Amish Shaw in Charlotte and Dr. Jessica McPherson in Winston-Salem are going to talk through students, how do you prepare your application so that it is both attractive for residency. So how do you build that resume cover letter? How do you build on the experiences that you have? And then also we mandate that our students have mock interviews. So we want you prepared to be able to talk professionally about your experience in medical school so that, again, you are able to match with those residencies that you preferred. And so I'm just giving you a glimpse in on what our career advisement looks like for our students, but know that they have someone throughout the entire 4 years that they are here to walk them through that journey. In addition to career advising, we have the academic advising, which is core. Our students have to pass step 1. And we have, I would say, arguably a great rate, and that's 98%, I think, or higher, at students passing step 1. And so our students have several sessions that are hosted by our academic advisors to prepare them for that. And so thinking about how do you take the test? How do you study during your dedicated study period? And so this may be new for some of you. Our students get a dedicated study period to just study for step 1. And so that is their job, just study for step 1. And so we help prepare them for that time frame and what they need to know for that. And so part of what we are thinking about ahead of time is what are the skills, what are the resources that our students need to be successful both academically and professionally. Another thing that we are doing in student affairs is thinking about how our students engage with the community. And so it is not enough just to be a student here. You will go out and be involved in the community. You are a part of the community, and that is in Winston-Salem and Charlotte. And so you may have heard about DEEC in Winston-Salem. Our DEEC clinic is one of the highlights among our students. They provide exemplary services for our community in Winston-Salem. I'll just highlight a bit about them and not going too in depth, but this year alone, they saw over 229 visits. That is amazing for our students. They had over 880, and I'm estimating here, roughly volunteer students visit within their clinic. And so their clinic, some of the highlights is that they have specialty nights. And so those specialty nights are dedicated for community members to come in, and they have dermatology. They have, I'm trying to think of other ones that they have in there, but you get what I'm saying. The specialties are within every night that they can come visit. In addition to the specialty nights, they also have 2 auxiliary clinics that they host, and that is their vision clinic, where underinsured or underserved communities can come and get an eye exam and go with a prescription glasses out if they need. Then also the foot and ankle clinic, looking at the foot health of our community members. And in the past, our students have received a grant where they've been able to give community members sufficient shoes that they can wear from the foot and ankle clinic. And so there are many ways that our students are reaching out to our community. Also in Charlotte, we just opened, our students opened what is called the Pearl Clinic. The Pearl Clinic started as of March of this year, and they are in agreement, I guess you could say, with Camino Salud, which is a clinic there in Charlotte, reaching the community as well. And so our students are eager to volunteer their time and services to our community, and not only, and I think it's so rich because our students are very busy. Their schedules, our curriculum team keeps them very busy. But for them to find time, and for them to not only find the time, but find the desire, right, to want to go and engage with the community speaks volumes of our students, I think. And just the commitment that they have, not only to their education, but also to being a well-rounded individual when they leave the space. And so those are some of the things that our students are doing in community engagement. The last thing I want to highlight is what we've launched officially this past year, is our Programs of Distinction, which is hosted by Dr. Pete First, who is our faculty director for this group. And so our Programs of Distinction sit outside of our curriculum space, and it's ways that our students can find more skill sets, enhance their skill sets, right, in different areas. And so some of the ways that they do that is through our scholarly programs that they can engage in, and then also scholarly concentrations. And why this is important, and this is not the sole reason that it's important, but they are able to highlight this in their residency application at the end, but also they're able to engage in a different way. And so I'll just highlight some of the scholarly programs and concentrations that our students are engaged in this year, one of them being our culinary and medicine program. And so Dr. Skellington is really involved in culinary and medicine, and so our students in their M1 year get thrown in to our food and science program. And so just some of the ways that our students are thinking creatively about how they want to learn their skills. Another one is wilderness and medicine, which has really been really popular. And all the programs that I'm listing right now are offered both on the Winston-Salem and Charlotte campuses. And so I do want to highlight this because I think it's important. Our students are getting a comparable experience both in Winston-Salem and Charlotte. Our students are active involved in both Winston-Salem and in Charlotte. In fact, in Charlotte on Monday, they're having a M1 celebration to celebrate the end of their M1 year. And so the students have wanted to organize this where all faculty and staff and even the building staff will be there because they are so excited to just finish out their first year in Charlotte. It truly is amazing, and it's a big deal for those students in Charlotte. And so that is one of the ways that they are just celebrating not only themselves, but the Charlotte community as a whole in that Pearl building. And so I think I've spent enough time, but there's just so much that can be said about our students and the work that they're doing. And I hope that I can do them justice by talking about what they are doing here and how transformative they will be once they leave here.
Thank you so much to all of you. I think you can hear all of the work that's happening, all the exciting stuff that's happening, and how medical school's transformed a lot, certainly since I went to medical school, and how dedicated our faculty and leaders are to ensuring that these students really are getting the very best. And you know, as I said, if you have an opportunity to, you may already have one of our students, and maybe they're a family member of yours. But if not, I encourage you to really get in contact with these students, because they will knock your socks off. And they are, self-motivated, really amazing individuals that we can all be very proud of to be a part of their career journeys. So thanks each of you for giving us a snapshot into that. All right, well, I think that concludes our session. Thank you so much for coming. And I hope you all enjoy the remainder of the time that you have with us. We're so delighted to have you here, and we'll stay up here for any questions that you might have. Thanks.